And you know what? It's that time again. Chelsea travel to Kazakhstan to take on Astana in the UEFA Conference League. The greatest European competition this year only because Chelsea are in it. Not only are we just in it, we're dominating it. 4 wins from 4 with 18 goals scored, only 3 conceding, and we're sitting happily top of the table. Chelsea travel to Kazakhstan looking to continue their amazing form after a ridiculous 4-3 win against Tottenham on the weekend. But you're going to see a lot of differences because the starting 11 is going to be completely different. And this is exactly what I like to see. Chelsea are placing faith in youth, prepared to play Astana in sub-freezing conditions in Kazakhstan. I've checked the conditions and as I'm recording, it's -20. That is insane. Having added a bundle of academy players to their Conference League squad in readiness for the 7,000-mile trip. That's insane. But it's great news because we're getting to see these academy prospects. And a couple of them might make their debut, and we're going to predict an 11 very shortly. There's also even better news. There's been a lot of uncertainty around talent Josh Acheampong's future with Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, all shown interest. And it looked like contract talks had stalled with Chelsea because he couldn't see a pathway into senior football, or he wanted a quicker pathway into senior football. But as reported by Fabrizio Romano, the agreement between Chelsea and Josh Acheampong over a new deal is almost done. Chelsea explained again their future view, final details to be sorted. I actually listened to this press conference from Enzo Maresca, and he did actually say these words: "The club loves Josh. I love Josh. We are almost there for his new deal. He's set to start tomorrow." Bellissimo. This is great news because not only is he an academy graduate, he's a player with a lot of potential and could have a really successful future at Chelsea Football Club. And there's nothing better than when one of your own makes it into your senior team. It's a beautiful sight, a beautiful thing. And I think he's already established that connection with the Chelsea fans, so it can only be a good thing. And if you do want to know the ins and outs about Josh Acheampong's game, his style of play, strengths and weaknesses, I have done a scout report and it's on YouTube, so go and check it out. But before you do so, make sure you hit this like button and hit the subscribe button for more Chelsea content. But the benefit of having such a good academy and squad depth in your senior team is you can rotate your team, and the team are just playing better and better and better as the games go on. We've got a tough game against Brentford on the weekend on Sunday, and it is a long trip, so I'm not surprised to see Chelsea making so much changes. This is a tournament where we can afford to make those changes. So Chelsea have included 11 academy players in training, and the academy players are as follows: Josh Acheampong, Hayden Wilson, Richard Olise, Harrison Murray-Campbell, Keno Dyer, Samuel Raksaki, Tyreek George, Harvey Vale, Shim, Ampat and Washington. However, Chelsea do have an important youth cup game on Friday evening, so the likes of Keno Dyer and Sim probably won't feature in tomorrow's game. And also, Washington is not eligible to play. However, if they want, they can still register Harvey Vale, but they must do so before midnight tonight. So it's going to be extremely difficult to predict the starting 11, but let's try. So number 1, as a goalkeeper, Philip Jorgensen. When you bring in so many youngsters, especially their debut or if they have just limited minutes, you want some experience in that side, especially when you're going away to these hostile, cold environments. Then we all know Josh Acheampong is going to start at right back, and I'm extremely ecstatic about this news. Not only the fact he's making his debut, is that he's committing his future to Chelsea Football Club. Now that the contract situation is sorted, settled, out the way with, let's just knuckle down and we can get the best out of you, and you can just enjoy playing for Chelsea Football Club. And then the 2 centre-backs, again, for the reasons that we still need to have a little bit of experience out there. So I do expect Torsen and Disasi to start at centre-back. And then at left-back, the one and only, the passionate man, Renato Vieira. Now, the central areas is where it gets interesting because Cassidy can't play because of his red card last game. So do you start with a double pivot or do you start with a single pivot? You've got both options. In a double pivot, you could play Keenan Dewsbury-Hall and actually start Samuel Raksaki, or you can change to a 4-1-4-1 formation, start Keenan Dewsbury-Hall in the pivot and have Johnny Chukwuemeka and Christopher Nkunku as the 2 attack midfielders. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does. But I would actually start with Samuel Raksaki and Keenan Dewsbury-Hall in the double pivot. And I would start with Johnny Chukwuemeka as that attacking midfielder. And then out wide it gets interesting as well because we all know Pedro Neto can't play against Brentford because he's reached the yellow card limit. And we all know Mudryk has been ill. So has he fully recovered yet? We're yet to find out. So will he start with them two on the wings? I don't think he will, and I wouldn't either. I would actually start with Tyreek George. I think he looked extremely bright and positive when he does come on. And then depending on whether Mudryk is fully well or not, I would start with Mudryk on the other side. And then as the centre forward, again, it's a toss of a coin because you could start with Mark Guéhi or you can start with Christopher Nkunku. I would actually start with Mark Guéhi, give him another run out, give him an opportunity because I do think we've got enough quality in this side to break down Astana. And let's be honest, even if we drop points, it's not going to be the end of the world. I know a lot of Chelsea fans won't like saying this, but this competition is actually perfect for us this season because it allows us to bring through our youth. It allows us to give minutes to those that don't get a lot of minutes in the Premier League. It allows Enzo Maresca to get his foot under the table and establish which player he can keep, he does see a future with, does see high potential with. This is the perfect competition for that. Granted, next season, I do not want to be in this competition. Hopefully, touch wood, we're in the Champions League. But this does give the opportunity to the likes of Josh Acheampong, Tyreek George, Samuel Raksaki to go out there and show us what they're capable of. And even though these games aren't as meaningful as the Premier League or whatever, I'm so excited to watch them because I love it when clubs give opportunities to youth players. And Chelsea are one of the best youth academies in English football, so we should be on a yearly basis producing at least one young talent. So it's prediction time. I don't think it's going to be high scoring games, so I'm going to go for Astana 0, Chelsea 2. And what I'll be most happiest about that is keeping a clean sheet. That'll give these young players so much confidence. So look, we're not going to be able to make these changes in the long run where we are competing in the Champions League. So let's enjoy it while we can. There's going to be players in that squad that aren't here next season, granted, because I do think we need better quality, especially in the defensive areas in the squad depth. But I want to know your thoughts. Who do you think's going to start? And what's your predictions for the game? Drop us a comment in the below. But once again, if you've enjoyed this video and want to see more, make sure you hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, and until next time, ciao for now.